What is sign interpretation, and how is this an aberration from union with universal cosmic forces? This will be our topic in today's episode of the Maverick Mystic Arts podcast. So, what is sign interpretation? Good to define terms. Sign interpretation is very common in the spiritual worlds, and many people who adopt a spiritual identity start to look into the communities that exist out there and start to connect with what we're all looking for in some sense, which is meaning. And so we start to adopt and impose meaning onto experience. And this results because we are in disconnection, right? We are not connected. We are separate from the universal forces, from the cosmic energies and so forth. We cannot perceive that cosmic language, and as such we start to rely on the interpretation of the signs to try to extract meaning from the environment, from situations. When we are doing this, what is the thing that's doing the extracting, that's trying to find the meaning? That's usually ourselves, and it's usually the identity in a lower sense of the word. And so the meaning that we extract helps to facilitate and consolidate the identity, whatever paradigm it exists within. So what would be an example of interpreting a sign? Let's say you like amulets, gemstones, etc. And you have one that you've charged with protection that somebody else has charged with a type of protection. It's very common in spiritual worlds that when a stone falls and breaks, or you lose it, or something like that happens, you go, oh, well, there was negative energy coming in and the stone took the hit for me. Now, can this be accurate? Yes. Is it in that scenario? Well, that's where we need to actually find union with the cosmic language. So sign interpretation, it clues us into one tiny slice of time, one tiny freeze frame of the actual flow of the wave of cosmic forces and energy. When we start to become open to that language all the time, we lose the need for the interpreter. We don't need to try to extract meaning out of slices of that flow of energy, because we can observe it and we are at one with it in the entirety of its becoming and unbecoming, its causational arising and cessation. Because we are at one with that, we can start to notice, let's say in the example of a stone falling, energy that might be coming in, our own inability at whatever layer of evolution we're residing in within, whatever refinement we're at, our own inability to be at one with those forces, to be a through flow or exist from that space of the torus. And that energy is getting stuck against us in different ways. It's sticking on the identity. And if we can't be a conduit for that, right, then that energy sticks to us. And if we can't be a conduit or metabolize that, then what happens? Well, very often it's our finesse starts to fall away. We become more fidgety. The finesse falls away. We end up bumping our head on things, stubbing our toes on things. We become more klutzy. We start dropping things. We can't think right, and we can't really pay attention. And that rubbing of the energy against the identity, that friction, creates a lot of static within. That's the friction. And that static creates these types of actions which lead to, in this example, the dropping of the stone and the cracking and so on. And so you go, okay, well, did the stone take that energy and protect you? And if you don't have access to that whole spectrum of events that happens prior to the stone dropping, you are relying on the stone as an indicator that there was even negative energy coming through. So if we can be aware of all that energy and that whole spectrum of events, then when that stone does take that energy and you can observe that energy being metabolized by the stone, then your sign, we could say, that interpretation is based off actually having had and been part of the conversation. Very often the interpretation that folks who attach to the spiritual identity go through is it's not even an interpretation. It's an interpretation of hearsay, right? Of sort of a like anecdotal hearsay. And this is a very big departure from union with these cosmic forces. So in order to develop our ability to move beyond the interpretation of signs, we need to develop our ability to perceive and work with many layers, many spectrums of the vibrational scale. We need to be able not only to become aware of the energy, but to become aware of the energy all the time, to become aware of the whole spectrum of the vibrational scale all the time. And the place from which we are aware, the awareness itself, needs to be as free from the clingings of identity as possible, so that we can actually engage in that conversation. Right? That is super, super important. And this is applicable in many spectrums of looking for signs, right? You might be going through a particularly harrowing experience in life. And so we go, okay, is this a sign for our evolution? We're going through a chaotic interpretation of the wave, the ebb and flow of harmony as it unfolds. We're going through a real disintegrating and chaotic phase of that. And we go, okay, well, this means I'm evolving super fast, and we again look to impose meaning. Or we're in a very harmonious and stable aspect that seems good. And we go, okay, well, this is a sign that, you know, I'm evolving and doing really well, and I'm in congruence and in alignment with the forces that be. That's why things are going so well. We can attempt to outsource connection to signs, or we can be aware of the actual energies that we are in resonance with, the actual spectrum and frequency we are in resonance with. When we do this, we're no longer in need of the interpretation of signs. When you're going through those harrowing experiences, you can feel the awkward alignments that are within. You can feel the stagnations. You can feel the negativity of view, the negativity of feeling, the negativity of action. And you can feel your dissonance and departure from union with more refined universal forces, and departure from that union with the cosmic language. You can feel how the identity is a sticking point for all these energies, and those sticking points are inhibiting your ability to metabolize those energies, to be a conduit for them, and to work with them, to be in union with them, in resonance with them. And when you're in those more stable places, you can feel the various spectrums of energy and the alignment you have in those moments as well. So it stops being a issue of interpretation, and it no longer becomes a need for interpretation or for like anecdotal hearsay attachments to what signs mean, and instead it becomes real communication, right, with the infinite language that is also ourselves. And you're basically you're talking with yourself. So hopefully you found this helpful, and hopefully it helps to explain why it can be so useful to go through a process of training so you can develop awareness of the vibrational scale and all the energies at play, planetary forces, constellational forces, electromagnetic forces, the elements, on and on and on, so that you can really start to work with the energy directly. Okay, and this breathes the spark of life into any sign, etc., that might be exposing itself to you or displaying itself for you, because now you are a part of the entire life cycle, of which that sign is just a blip, right? And it adds so much life into worldly experience and non-worldly experience as well. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. If you're interested in training, please check out the website. There are a series of workshops coming up. Most of them are weekend workshops. We have a 6-weekend series on the initiation into Hermetic's process. There is a 1-month, a 30-day Akasha retreat coming in November, and this can be registered for in the first 10 days, the first 14 days, or the full 30 days. We'll be going quite deep into the intricacies of the infinite in that retreat. And there are a number of other weekend workshops as well on evocation, looking at, of course, the Earth zone, the lunar sphere, the solar sphere. There's workshops on working and reading crystals, gemstones, and loading amulets, and a number of other things as well. Some of these trainings do have prerequisites, so please double check those prerequisites before signing up. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.